Hey, what's going on, everybody? Man, it's your boy Marcus Elbow. Welcome to Healthy Music. And I want to say hey to all my healthy people out there. I hope that you're doing good and I hope that you're making some great music. Today, I'm going to show you what it's like to get started soon as you buy your MPC Key 37. So, this is going to be your first 20 minutes with the machine. So, let's go ahead and get started. Let's go. Hey, live better, feel better, you'll make better music. All right, as you can see here, we have this beautiful machine. The first thing we're going to want to do is turn our power on, and the power is in the back left over here. It's just a small little button. Right here, I'm going to show you on the screen all of the ins and outs on the back of this machine. Pretty straightforward stuff. All right, but when you first boot up, you're probably not going to see this type of screen here when you first boot up because I have my screen set up a certain type of way. But let's not even worry about that. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hit that empty project screen right there, okay? And then that'll take you to your instruments. And if you do not have that many instruments, don't worry about it. You can buy these instruments through InMusic or through Akai Professional themselves. Okay, but let's just take a real quick overview of what we're looking at here on the screen itself. Okay, starting from your left, you have your volume control here, of course. You have your mod wheel here, both wheels here. You also have your track mute. And then as you look at this white section under your labeling for your button, that's what you can use the shift button. And the shift button is going to be right over here. So if you hold that shift down, you can hit one of those highlighted labels that's on these buttons. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, track mute, pad mute, okay? And then that means the second one I named is the one that you're going to do with the hit shift. Then over here you have your copy and your delete, okay? Self-explanatory. Then you have your full level, half level. Okay, so that's according to how hard you want to hit your pad. So whatever you have your 16 levels, and then you have your notes, which is great. 16 levels is just for you to take a one sound and then have the song chromatically spread it over the 16 pads. And then notes, of course, gets you into some note stuff. If you can't play, if you can, it can definitely set the machine up to have your certain type of notes. Then you have a erase here. You have your note repeat. Then you have your latch here. Okay. Now from the top here, you have your different sound banks, and you have A, E, B, F, C, G, and DH. Okay. So whenever you switch that, it will go through different samples that you have loaded up. And of course, you have your UI here. You have your sound and your favorites here because, with these type of workstations, of course, that's what they're calling it. You have your sounds and everything on board, which is very dope. Right here, you have your menu, and then you have your preferences. So if you want to get to, your parameters and things like that, you can do that. You have your main, which is going to be your favorite button. That's why it's in black. Then you have your track. Then you have your edit here, and then you have your X. YFX, where you can go in and do some effects and things like that, which is super dope. You have your grid here, you have your step sequencer, you have your mix, you have your pad, okay? Right here going down is your Qlinks, okay? These are your data dials, so if you have something on your screen here, as you can see whenever I touch that, you would have some different parameters based on what's on your screen that you can actually go in and manipulate using your Qlinks here, and your Qlinks section here, right here, which is Qlink edit and Qlink is how you switch between the different modes or the different parameters that the Qlinks will actually control. Okay. Then the next one right here, you have your undo and you have your redo. You have your automation. You have your on and off. You have your time correct on and off here as well. You have your arpeggio and latch and config and chords here. Okay, you have your metrodome, you have your config here. You also have your keyboard control, which is super dope because you can actually, since you do have now an MPC with keys on it, you can actually lock in your different chords. That's where, if you don't know how to play things like that, you can definitely do that as well. Then you have your MIDI control here. You have your tap to tempo. You have your global, of course. We just talked about it. You have your shift here. You have your sample edit and your sampler here. You have your save and your save as, which is dope to have that save button just right there. Boom, you just hit it and you're able to go save. Then right here, you have your load and you have your looper, which the load is dope too because it takes you straight into the browser. If you're an MPC user, then you already know That load button is dope because before we used to have to go to browser and things like that. Okay. Then down here at the bottom, you have your transport controls. You have your record, overdub, stop, play, and play start. And last but not least, you have your data wheel here and your plus and minus here. And this is essentially what you use to navigate through all of your UI. Okay. That's all of your buttons in a nutshell. Okay. Now, once you do that, first thing you're probably saying is, okay, man, look, I appreciate all that elbow, but you know why I got this? Because I want to make a beat. That's what I want to do. Okay, so let's just go ahead and explain real quick to you your UI so that you will understand how to get started on making a beat. Now, we're not going to go through everything. I do have a course coming out for the MPC 37, but I'm just trying to really speed you through this thing real quick, okay? Now, as we look at the UI here, let's just concentrate on the middle section of the UI. Every time that you open up a song or you trying to work on something, it is considered as a project. Inside of those projects, you can have samples, you can have sequences, you can have everything, but all of that lives inside of a project. Okay. As you can see right now, that project is untitled. If you want to name that project, it's not hard to do. It's hit save, and then you can go in and name that project. You can save it to wherever you want to save it to. Let's just go ahead and save mine to my project. So I'm gonna go to my project folder. I'm gonna navigate to this. I'm gonna click the end on my data wheel. Let's go ahead on and save this. I'm gonna call this. Let's go first 20. We're gonna go first 20 minutes. Okay, and then we're gonna do it. We're gonna go ahead and save that. Now that project is saved. And as you can see right here at the top, it says first 20 minutes. You always kind of want to do that. That way you can always make sure you have your project saved and you don't run into any problems. You know what I mean? Now that you have your project name, let's kind of go through a few things that are important as far as the UI is concerned. Okay. Right here is going to be your sequence. So if you want to name that first sequence, you can name that. And by hitting this little pencil over here to the right, you can actually get to that. And then you can just name that whatever you want to do it. Let's just name it intro. Okay. Now, once you have named that, you can hit main. Now remember, main is going to be your favorite button. That's going to take you back. Now, right now, inside of that sequence section, you have your BPM right here. So if you click this, if you click in your data wheel, which I'm gonna back up a little bit so you can see that. If I click in my data wheel, I can change my tempo to whatever I want it to be. Or you can just use your data wheel to turn it to whatever you want it to be. Okay, let's just take that back to 120. All right, next to that, you have your bars. So that you can go with 2 bars, 4 bars, 5 bars. If you're Dilla, you want to make a 5-bar loop, you can do that, right? All right, then you have your time signature and you have your transpose. Moving down is going to be your track section. Now, you have 4 different tracks that I like to use whenever I'm making a beat inside of any MPC. Start that out, you have your drum track, right? And that's the first one that we just hit. Your drum track is essentially where all your 16 pads live. That's where your drum track is. Then you have your plug-in. Your plug-in is where your sounds live. Remember, plug-in is going to be for sounds, drums going to be for drums, okay? Then you have your key group, which is a bunch of sounds laid out along your keys. You know what I mean? So that's another way you can do that. And then you also have your clips, okay? The other one is just MIDI and CV gate. If that's what you're into, then you can definitely use that. But most of your time is going to be spent on the top 3, which is going to be your drums, going to be your plugins, and going to be your key groups. You know what I mean? And if you're looking for some dope key groups, go holler at my man, So 100. I'll leave a link in the description. The dude has some of the best key groups on the planet, so go look him up. You know what I mean? What's up? So, all right. So now that we have an understanding of the different type of tracks that we can create, you know what I mean, inside of the track section, you can name the track or you can just wait and do something else. But let's just go ahead and name it just because we're already here. I'm going to do exactly what I did at that top. I'm going to hit that pencil button, right? I'm going to go up here and then I'm going to name this drum or drums, and then I'm gonna hit that main again. That's gonna take me back. So now my first track is named drums. If I wanted to, I can go to my second track and I can go ahead and name that, and I can just call it whatever. I could call it keys. You know what I mean? Hit the main button, I'm back. All right. So now we have 2 tracks. We got drums and then we got keys, right? Now, if I go to the keys, remember keys is essentially either a key group or a plugin. So if I hit plug in for that, then once I go back to number one, it's going to switch on its own, as you can see right there. After you do that, now let's get down to the drum and the plug-in section that you need to know. You got to know this, because if you do not do this correctly, I remember when I first bought my MPC, I could not understand what was going on with whenever I created a drum or a plug-in, because I kept erasing or I kept changing the sound. Let me help you out right quick. I'm going to save you so much time. It's ridiculous. All right. So whenever you create a program, or whenever you use a program, the program is going to you already got one program. It's called program number one, as you can see here, right? It's called program number one. First thing you want to do, let's just go ahead and name that. I don't care what you name it, okay? Let's just name it kick and snare, right? All right, we're going to name that kick and snare, right? Let's go back to the main. Now, in order for you to create another drum program, if you do not load a program, we'll talk about that in a second, you need to create another drum program. So all you have to do is hit this little plus sign here. And as you can see, it says program number 3, right? Now, what you want to do is you can go in and you can name that as well. You can name that whatever you want. Let's just name that hi-hat, right? Okay, let's hit the main. Now we essentially have 2 drum programs that we can actually go in and play around with, and they will not affect one another. Okay, that's very important to know. Now, if we go to track number 2, where we have the keys, we already have one plug-in right here, right? You can go in and you can name that, but every time, just like we did with the drums, you need to create a new plug-in track in order for you to be able to use that, okay? Do not do this without doing this, or you will have a bunch of headaches, okay? So just remember that, all right? Now, inside of this section, you have a couple of things that you can use inside of here. You can use your, let me go back to drums here, kick and snare. You have warp samples, you have assign samples, and then you have edit sample. So whatever samples that you have loaded inside of this program, you have some quick options here that you could use to go to some different areas like parameters to be able to manipulate those samples. All right. So essentially, that is the middle section. Let's not really get into some of the other stuff right now. Let's just go ahead on and load some drums real quick so that I can show you how to do that. All right. All you have to do here is hit your load button. This is going to take you to your browser, and inside of your browser, you have a few different options. Okay. You have drums, you have instruments, you have samples, my files, so forth and so on. Now, inside of your files is where you can have your own samples. So if you have your own samples, you brought them in, you saved them, or somebody sold you some samples, you can load those samples up to your pads right there from this section. Or if you have any expansions that you bought from akai or any other person that makes expansions, and you was able to go and buy those, they will live here after you load them in. Okay, we're not going to talk about that. That's going to be coming in the course, so don't worry. This is just a quick guide to get you quick up and started. You just bought this machine and you ready to work. Let's go ahead on and go to Broken Hearts, right? And as you can see, soon as I booted that up, you started to hear an audition of the sound that was actually highlighted when I first did it. Now, if you look at this right here at the top, you have a few different options. Of course, you have your sample here. These are individual samples. You have your plugins here, and you have your drums. Them are the only ones you need to be concerned with, those 3 right there. Especially if you're looking for some drums, you're going to hit the little 4-box icon, and then you can actually go through some of the kicks that are actually inside of this pack. All right. Let's just load that up. So in order for you to load that, let me back up here. All you have to do is click your data wheel, or you can just kick load. All right. Now that's going to load into my main. So now if I go back to main and I want to audition those drums, I want to hear them and play around with them, all I have to do is select my drum program section down here and then hit my data wheel until I find that trap, soul, kick, blase, right? Soon as I highlight that, all of my pads will load up with sounds. And if you have something that is playing and you want it to stop like this, just hit stop twice, okay? And what's cool about a lot of these expansion packs that you buy, they will come with melodies already. You know what I mean? So if you just want to make a beat real quick using whatever is inside of that pack, you could do that. And another thing that's super, super dope, with most of the packs that you buy from the Akai website, they will already be warped. So no matter what you change your tempo to, it should match. So let's just go ahead on real quick and make us a real quick track real quick, okay? Now, in order for you to record, all you have to do is push record and then hit play to start. Now, if you hit play, it will start from wherever you stopped previously, whenever you were playing a track or recording a track. So you always want to hit play to start, because that will start it from the beginning. It will give you a 1-bar countdown, and then you can start recording. Okay, now once you go through that first recording, it will take you into an overdub state. And inside of this state, you can continue working if you wanted to, or you can just hit that button right there. And now you will not hear the click anymore. And now you're in just audition mode. You're not in record mode, okay? Let's see what else we got in here. Sounds kind of cool. All right, let's go ahead and put that in. So what I'm going to do, in order for me to record that bass, I'm going to have to hit overdub, because we don't want to hit record, because that will record over the initial melody that we put in. Go ahead and hit play from start and then put that bass in. All right, then hit overdub again, and then you can take that click out. Now we can start looking at some drums. All right, let's go ahead and record the drums. Now I'm sitting here and I'm listening. I'm listening to that bass, and I'm saying, I don't really like the bass, right? So on the left side of the screen here is where you have some of your editing parameters. So if I hit that second icon, this will take me to the step record, and then I could go find that bass, and then I can eliminate that bass, right? All I have to do is hit my icon up here, which is my eraser there. Right? And now I just need to figure out which one is the bass, which is going to be right here, right? And then now I just need to highlight this. Okay, let's hit this magnifying glass here, right? And then I'm gonna zoom in, and then I'm gonna hit that, and then I'm just gonna delete that. Now it's gone. Hit main and go back. Let's put some hi-hats in this. I like that right there. Let's go. All right. Now, I really, really like that, but we need to turn that down. In order for us to do that, we can go into our mixer section. And I know I'm giving you a lot right up front, but trust me, you got to get in there and play around with this stuff. Or you can go grab the course when it comes out, and that will walk you through every detail slowly and precisely. All right, I'm just going to hit this little icon here at the top here. It's like a little eyeball. And then I want to change the volume of a track. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do this. If you have it if you have it highlighted on the actual box with multiple boxes in it, that means that you're manipulating the entire pad family by adjusting your volume or adding effects. But if you go over to your left here, that is at the pad level. So if I hit pad number 9 or pad number 14, I can now turn that down. Let's turn it down a little bit more. All right, now that I've turned it down, let's go ahead and hit overdub and let's record that. I like it. Now, what's really crazy is this bass sounds good, but it doesn't sound good playing all the way through. So I'm going to give you a little bonus real quick. I can actually go in and edit this actual pad right here and actually change how long it is. If I just go ahead on and hit edit here, I can go straight in and go to samples, and I could change the length of just that one sample just by grabbing this endpoint and bringing that all the way down. And if I hit play again, it's going to cut off because I just want a little bit of it to start in the beginning. Let's hear it. See, I just want a little bit of it. I don't want it all. If I go back to main and I hit record, let's play that. Let's put that in. Guess what? That is how easy it is for you to jump in to your MPC Key 37 and start banging out tracks. Super, super easy. All right, guys. So as you can see, I know you just bought your machine. I know it felt intimidating at first if this is your first MPC or even if this is your second or whatever. I just showed you how quick and easy it is for you to jump inside of this machine, get started, make you a beat. I just use one track with that. And if you're thinking, hey, how are you going to spread that out? You can just explode it, and then you can have multiple tracks spread it out. So that is the way for you to get started in 20 minutes. Soon as you get your MPC 37, and yeah, you're ready to rock and roll, man. Listen, if you're looking for any type of equipment, if you want to buy this machine, let's just say you don't have it, you just want to see how easy it is to use it, run over to Zounds, do me a solid, use my link in the description, go grab this machine. Zounds got easy finances. Sometimes they don't even ask to do a credit check on certain products over there. The customer service is second to none. Then you get your stuff in 2 days. If you don't like it, you can send it back. I know you're going to love this machine and anything else that you buy, but make sure you use that link because it helps support the channel. Also, if you're looking for any type of courses, this course is going to be coming out in a couple of months or a month. You might want to go ahead on and definitely go to elbowmediastudios.com where you can definitely sign in and get subscribed up over there. So when I do release this course, you'll be the first notified. Also, we have packs over there. We have the Beat League. So if you're looking for music, you're looking for beats, you're looking for sounds, you can get all that over there. And you also can get some merch if you're looking for merch. All right. Listen, man, this is your boy Marcus Elbow. This has been Healthy Music. Live better, feel better, make better music. I'll catch y'all in the next one. One, peace. I'm out.